What's up, y'all? It's your boy KSK Sports here, and this is a special video I wasn't planning on making. I didn't know that I was going to experience Coach Prime talking with G. Bush. Yes, G. Bush. And in the Cleveland media content creation space, G. Bush is the godfather of the new Cleveland. He is a voice inside of Cleveland media that can be trusted with telling the truth about our nephew Shador Sanders. So I mean, it was if you haven't checked it out, check out the Barbershop. It just went live. I just watched the whole thing, and I'm gonna give y'all some cliff notes on what I took from it. What really stuck out to me was when Coach Prime was sticking up for his son. And that's why I labeled this keeping receipts. He stuck up for his son in the pre-draft process because there were some stories about Shador with the particular head coach, the former head coach of the New York Giants, and Brian Daboll. There's a lot of rumors out there that, Shador had headphones on and he was being, rude to Brian Daboll. Coach Prime pretty much unequivocally said that's false. That didn't happen. And I figure it was some type of fabrication. Pretty nefarious from Brian Daboll. I mean, if you like Jackson Dart, that's fine if you like Jackson Dart. But you don't need to throw Shador Sanders under the bus for your adoration for another quarterback. There's a way, there's a decorum. There's a way to go about doing things, and the way Brian Daboll went about it, the way the New York Giants went about the pre-draft process with Shador Sanders just wasn't cool. And I appreciate Coach Prime for calling it out. Also, he had a tidbit to say about Mary Kay Cabot and how his son went back at Mary Kay Cabot. And he was saying, Coach Prime, people forget, Coach Prime was at NFL Network for a long time. Coach Prime was part of the media, so he knows how media works. So, he said it's gonna be a documentary, in the future about how Shador was treated in the pre-draft process. It's not gonna come out yet, but yeah, look for that in the future where, they have their own media conglomerate as well. So, they're well versed in the media. So they know all the nefarious thing that's going on with Cleveland media when it comes to Shador Sanders. So, he touched on Mary Kay. He says, God bless Mary Kay's. Yeah, Shiloh, she said something, then he said something. It was just that. And that's how I took it. Mary Kay Cabot, she said what she said about Shador. And then Shiloh, he had a response to that. And that's just what he's going to stick up for his brother. Just is what it is. But, the overall theme and sense of the interview with Coach Prime with Garrett Bush, I liked it. I liked the whole thing. I like that Coach Prime, he seemed pretty comfortable. I like the questions that G. Bush was asking of Coach Prime. And you guys got to check it out. I think I can link the interview. I'll link the interview in the description. But I just loved it. I loved it. I'm giving y'all cliff notes kind of off the cuff. I probably should have written it down. That would have been better. But yeah, he touched on he touched on the pre-draft process. He touched on Mary Kay recently. Oh, Todd Monken. Yeah, he loves Todd Monken. And Coach Prime, I found it pretty interesting that he alluded to that, pretty much Kevin Stefanski, he didn't ask Coach Prime for any advice. I think it's got I don't think that's gonna be the case with Todd Monken. I think at some point Todd Monken and Coach Prime, they will have a powwow. They will have a meeting of the minds when Shador is the QB1, because Coach Prime, he be at the games. So you're gonna run into the coach. And I suffice to say that Coach Prime and Kevin Stefanski probably didn't get along. We saw that Coach Prime, when he was at one of the games in Cleveland, that him and Jimmy Haslam were pretty cordial and pretty casual with each other. So Jimmy has him. I believe he has a solid relationship with Coach Prime. I don't think Coach Prime really had a good relationship with Kevin Stefanski at all, because he alluded in an interview that there are some rough processes in there. He didn't come out and bury Kevin Stefanski, but there was some overtonage and there was some coded language, pretty much, that he didn't really vibe with Kevin Stefanski was doing. And also he said, the development really wasn't there under Kevin Stefanski by not saying it. There's ways you can go about saying things without, the necessary burying of somebody else. And, Coach Prime ain't really about that. He ain't really about going at somebody's neck like that, but at the same time going at somebody's neck like that, if you know what I mean. He the way he talks is like he doesn't go like directly at the target, but you still get what he's going to say, and it's not like a passive aggressive way. He just has a way that he goes about his business. And I think there was a question asked about the upbringing from Shador. Garrett Bush asked Coach Prime, and he said that he took grown to the south side of Dallas. Apparently the south side of Dallas is the rougher part of Dallas. So I mean, he said he didn't grow up with a silver spoon in his mouth. He said he took him to the south side of Dallas, so he took him to the other side of the track so that he can build up a type of toughness that he is going to need in the NFL. And also, it was asked, when do you know that Shador was going to, be NFL ready? He said Shador was going to be NFL ready when he was like 7 to 8 in like Pee Wee football. He knew that he had that it factor in him from quite some time. And I've alluded to this on this channel that if I'm going to bet on somebody being good in the NFL, I'm going to bet on the Sanders. I'm going to bet on Shador Sanders. It is what it is, because he comes from a great pedigree of Coach Prime. I've seen when Shador is in a proper construct, when he's in a place where you have a coach like Coach Prime. I think Todd Monken is a coach similar to Coach Prime. I think Shador is going to thrive in this system, under Todd Monken's system, coming up in 2026. But you gotta check out the interview for yourself on the Barbershop. I'll link it in the description. But that's all I got on this. I wasn't planning on making a video, but I gave y'all some cliff notes on it. It was about a 35-40 minute video. I also touched on Cleveland media at large, and he bigged up G. Bush for what he's doing in the Cleveland media space, because it's much needed. Because the Cleveland media, y'all know this channel's pretty much devoted to Cleveland media. And the messiness of them, from a perspective of me being a Cleveland Browns fan, and G. Bush being a Cleveland Browns fan, and him still being in Ohio, and him being enthralled inside of Cleveland media. It was cool that he was able to get that interview and set some stuff straight. So I mean, it was a nice interview, and I'll link it in the description so you guys can check it out for yourselves. But for now, KSK Sports rolling out. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. All right, peace, y'all.